Okay, so we'll go ahead and welcome everyone. My name is Melissa Daly, founder and owner of Orca Intelligence. Happy New Year, happy holidays to everyone. If you are watching this live or whether or not you will watch it later on, you may be busy. Here in DC, the weather is beautiful, so I'm calling this Frolic Fridays, where after this, hopefully, my last meeting, I get to go frolic.
Nice.
Um, we have Ola here, who is a entrepreneur. We've met years ago. It's probably been like a decade or so, like in Baltimore in the tech entrepreneur space, and we've kept in contact through LinkedIn. And you're in Houston, right?
That's correct. Also enjoying pretty nice weather here today for a
What's
Friday.
the weather? What's the weather like there?
I think we're about at 70s right now. It was raining all week, so and you know how it is with the floods in Houston, so that was a thing all week. But today it's all cleared up, so it's nice and dry and a little bit sunny and a little bit cool, 70 degrees.
Nice, nice. Okay, all right. So we're matching weather. We can't debate about that
I,
today.
I I heard my brother who's there in DMV in DC, Maryland, and he said the same thing that the weather's so nice today. He's out trimming his hedges and doing landscaping.
Yeah, it's ridiculously nice. But we're here today to talk about. We're going to be debating, of course, from my Jamaican background and Ola's Nigerian background. Both cultures are always debating something, whether it's soccer or something, Concacaf or whatever it is. It could be anything, right? Like we're
And always loud as hell about it.
always
I'll,
loud,
I'll, I'll
right?
tell you a
Always
very
loud.
funny story. A friend of mine, they're a couple, Nigerian and Jamaican, and they had this, the onesie for their baby. They just had the baby, and it's one has a Nigerian flag that says, "Hey, I'm not shouting. I'm Nigerian." The other one has a Jamaican flag and says, "Hey, I'm not shouting. I'm a Jamaican." So this is going to be interesting, putting us head to head over here.
Exactly. That's funny. Every work environment I had to go to, I would say I'm not shouting. It's just cultural. It's just cultural. Nothing,
Yep.
nothing against you. All right. So tell us a little bit about yourself, Ola.
I sure will. But out of curiosity, because I don't see the LinkedIn version of it as we were just talking about.
Mhm.
Do you see the LinkedIn? Like who's live? Is that a thing? Do you have access to our audience who might want
I
to
have
interact?
no I have no clue at the moment. I know right now I don't see anybody at the moment. Oh, on YouTube I don't see anyone. There could be people on LinkedIn. I'm not sure. I mean, though,
Okay.
a message will pop up or something if people have questions.
That's what I'm wondering if we have access to that. If people are
Yeah,
asking, okay, you do specifically, not
yeah,
me, because okay,
yeah. I think I do.
okay. Cool. Well, awesome. Yeah, thanks for having me on here. I saw your last other couple ones; they were very informative. So I feel honored to join your list of special guests here. So, what's my background? You've talked about it culturally. Born and raised in Nigeria, kind of mixed heritage. My mother is actually from the Czech Republic in Europe, so lived there as well for a little bit. But sort of professionally, I am engineer, electrical and computer engineer, and I started out at Verizon, building every kind of network that they have: fiber, copper, wireless, satellite, and even their FiOS TV program, which is how I got into the media side of things. So I started at telecom. I got into media. Along the way, I also got from networking into computer software and computer engineering and cloud engineering. From there, I went on to build a company that was building cloud software for companies like Verizon to do demonstration of infrastructure projects using 3D simulation. So that was, I think AR and VR and 3D is still finding its space. It seems to have this cycle just like AI where it's big and then it's not so big and then it comes back as metaverse and then it comes back as AR and then it comes back as XR. Um, but I think that's a very interesting area, just simulating our environment, simulating our projects, our programs in using 3D visualization. So I built a company around that, ended up leaving that company to join Amazon AWS, where I was a solution architect for these same business segments, telco, media, and what's called high tech. And now I'm back to running my own company, where I build services, solutions, products around the latest technologies to help different businesses.
Excellent, excellent. That's a great background you have there. Okay, so our debate today, right? So over the last couple of weeks and months, you and I have been talking both in person and virtually and so forth about whether or not small businesses or businesses in general who want some type of AI strategy, how they should approach that. Now, I'm on one side, you're on another side. I think at some point during our discussions, we go back and forth and try to like figure out, maybe that's right. Like maybe, maybe what you're saying is true. You know what I mean? So tell me, what side are you on? And then I can tell you, of course, for my, you know, without shouting, what side I'm on.
Okay, so you want me to tell you the correct side? We'll do
Yeah,
that. Let me
yeah.
tell you, I'm on the right side. That's what side I'm on. Okay. So the debate is about fundamental education around AI for businesses versus swift delivery of AI solutions. I think that this applies to tech solutions in general, but especially to AI. And I'm on the side that we really have to focus on swift, incremental, iterative delivery and results. I think our customers, our clients, our own companies, we don't have the resources, the time, the bandwidth to become experts in this fundamental educational way that you might be proposing. I don't know. You'll speak to your side, um, and I think that's just not it's not productive for us to focus on fundamental understanding. I don't think we've done that with other technologies beforehand. Most technology, even technology companies, let alone other vertical companies, they're not experts in IP protocols or networking or internet, anything. But obviously, the internet is a big part of every business. So yeah, my side is we really have to focus on delivering, developing, and delivering swift AI solutions rather than get caught up in fundamental education. Who needs education? Why? Give me results. Let's have some results.
Yeah. And of course, my stance is understanding the fundamentals, right? Because as a business owner, it is your responsibility to understand what the strategy is going to do for you and not have someone else tell you what the strategy is going to do and trust them full heartedly, right? Like I'm on the standpoint of, or I'm on the side of educating yourself as a business owner, understanding from the fundamentals of what your data does, right? So, understanding your data and how you want that data to be interpreted to better align with your business, right? So, I think you and I was talking about like the mom and pop, shop. Like I talk about my dad a lot, right? Mom and pop shop, construction, whatever. And so, thinking about like mom and pop organizations, small businesses, they don't always have the foresight to know where they're going to go in about 10 years. They're not thinking about 10 years, right? Most of the time they're thinking about the day-to-day survival mode of how can they manage and maintain their business. And so I always think that even those small organizations, even if it's just an hour a day or maybe 20 minutes a day, an hour a day is a lot to ask for, maybe 20 minutes a day, just kind of doing small snippets of educating themselves about their data, just starting there first with their data, understanding what their data is telling them. And then from there, then trying to understand, okay, what is it how can I utilize this data in the future? What will the future look like? Right. I think you and I both know, like going through your background, you and I both know, like, from where technology was 20 years ago to where technology is going to be in the next 10 to up 20 years from now is vastly different. And my fear is that there's going to be a lot of small businesses that are not going to make it because they don't understand their data, right? Like, data is, for me, I honestly believe that data is money, right? That's why I'm not on Facebook. I'm barely on Instagram. right? And so, the more and more data that I give them, I know they're monetizing the free amount of information that I provide them.
I agree about the value of their data, of any business's data, and for them to understand the value of it and use it somehow, monetize it, either make more money or save money, grow their market share. I agree with that premise. That's the challenge with this discussion. It's like fundamentally we kind of agree, um, but what? But it seems to me a big ask for a business that's focused on commercial or residential real estate, to use your father's business as an example, or consumer packaged goods, beauty products. um, I think I have a lot of empathy for even we that are in the field, we as technical technology experts. It's a full-time job and then some. We can barely keep track of, you know, how to leverage data in our businesses, or more generally, let alone how to extract it, transform it, load it, uh, find the benefits. I'm like, we know we hire teams, we build teams to achieve these outcomes. Literally me and you, like even me personally, I don't have that full breadth to be able to extract value out of data in any given scenario. uh, you know Name the scenario. It's a banking business, it's a marketplace business, it's a IT consulting business, my business. It's a software product business. I'm still going to look to, what, we need an analyst to look at this side of things. We need a pipeline to deliver this sort of outcome. Now put that lift on somebody who's in, whatever vertical they're in, residential real estate. I think it's an ideal. I think what you're saying is an ideal. And A, it's not realizable. And B, the sooner we get over ourselves, and saying, they're going to learn, and just be like, you know what, you got to spoon feed them. That's the only thing. As much as we're in denial, like, okay, they should know better. Look at QuickBooks. I know I've gone off on a
I was
tangent.
going to bring up, no, I was going to bring up that example. So you're right. Okay.
Oh,
Go ahead. Go ahead.
okay.
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know there's your father or a business that's in
Yeah.
commercial residential. It needs to do invoicing, and bookkeeping. um of course, there's a lot to bookkeeping, and everything that goes with that, tax and saving and spending, amortization. There's a lot that goes with it. um
But
and
you understand it. As a business owner, you understand the fundamentals.
Well, here's what I was about to say. Maybe you'll challenge me. It's like QuickBooks. QuickBooks don't say a word about any of those principles in their marketing or in their offer,
That's true.
right? They say, you want to send an invoice, click one button, invoice is sent. You want to know when your invoice is paid, your customer clicks one button, invoice is paid. They don't say zip about the value of what that means in terms of, recognizing your bookings quicker, which allows you to register your valuation of your company better, because your outstanding invoices versus paid invoices ratio. mm, you know your dad can go to his accountant for that. But the technology solution, which is our job, I'm saying you could disagree. I think our job uh, is to give them the QuickBooks messaging, which is, hey, save time, get your bills paid faster, use this tool, and it costs you $20 a month. I think that's our job. I agree with you that there's somebody else, like an accountant and a finance guy, that needs to tell them about their business processes and things like that. Maybe they themselves can figure it out, but I think we're missing our job if we think that we need to take on that fundamental education, as opposed to just give them the thing that's going to help them.
Yeah, but okay, so going back to the QuickBooks example, is when anyone goes to QuickBooks, there's a fundamental thing that they do understand. Money coming in and money going out, right? Very easy. Like you understand that QuickBooks is going to handle your accounting data. Everybody understands that. They if you there's no reason for you to go to QuickBooks without at least understanding that basic. So what I'm trying to say is that if there is a technology solution that is data analytic or some type of fraud detection or some type of predictive analytics, classical AI algorithmic based, any of those solutions, right? Before they're swiftly solutionized and delivered to a customer, that customer needs to understand, first of all, what all of those words that I just said mean. Right? Like they have to at least understand that at some common level. Because if I come in there, I've been told that I'm so techie that people don't understand what I'm saying. I'm not sure if that's really it. We'll see. But I've been successful in some environments with them understanding, but that's because they already had a fundamental understanding, right? So it was easy for me to, engage with that client or engage with a prospective customer and so forth. So it's very easy to do that. And it's not theoretical, it's very logic based, right? And so if someone doesn't have that foundation as a business owner regarding that type of that fundamental understanding of data analytics or predictive analytics or classical AI, right? And I'm not even talking about generative AI, right? I'm just talking about all the things that were here before generative AI popped off, 3 years ago, right? And so if people don't understand those fundamental things, they're going to always go to generative AI as being their solution. And it's like, no, don't. And I don't want to have that debate with somebody. I don't want to sit here and say to you, look, you don't need generative AI. What you need is maybe a basic data analytics, maybe a basic dashboard, and this is what it is. You understand what that is, right? And let's start there first. And also, sometimes it's you don't even need a dashboard. You just need to understand your data first and maybe just pull that into Excel and just start with a spreadsheet because of the level of some of these businesses, because they want to like everyone is like, oh, I want the new fresh shiny thing, right? Everyone's like, oh, I want the Porsche or I want the Maybach, whatever. But fundamentally you can't afford it because doing any of that generative AI, even if you just want to create your own and you want to maintain your own and you want to scale it up, you're going to have the funds in order to maintain that. And I think I told you this before. I don't want to do that for free.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
don't want to. I don't want to. I don't. I've already built my own solution at my cost, which is extremely expensive, right? And I I don't want to have to put another small business through that, and then them not understanding what they're getting from it, right?
I think one, I definitely see something that I agree with you clearly on, and I wonder if we can expand on. And two, I something I see where we solely another thing we disagree on. And the second one is on generative AI. But before I go to that part, before I open another can of worms, you
Yeah,
said something that even in using QuickBooks, your dad has a fundamental education
yeah,
about money in, money out.
yep,
Like there is your dad, let's say business owner, not
correct.
to yeah, business owner might not know all the ins and outs of amortization and taxation and all these things, um, but they understand money in, money out. Like that basic vocabulary is what allows them to value, hey, get my invoice paid quick or
Hmm.
not. So the question then becomes that I agree with you that some education of that level of abstraction, not like super, I'm a tax master, just
Right.
money in, money out. Now,
Yes.
the question is, what is the money in, money out level of education for this point about data?
Can I answer that now?
Yeah, yeah, please.
Because data is like property, but people don't. That fundamental thing, people don't see that yet, but they have to. Once you're in your business and you see that the data that you have is like property, that's when you can go, oh, I can monetize all my data. Yes, small business owner, all the data that you've been collecting for years and whatever tools that you have, that's now money. And now let me
Well,
show you one second. Now let me show you how you can now monetize all of that data for you.
okay. Can I take a guess at what that monetization might look like, just
Sure.
to make a bit of a concrete,
Yes.
right? Because the person who understands money in, money out also understands I can take my money to the bank. I
Yes.
can take my money to Best Buy. I
Yep.
can get me a big screen TV.
Yeah.
I can go to the Chevy dealer and get a blah, blah, blah.
Hmm.
Uh, so, like that, I think.
Can I give you an example? Let me. Okay.
Go
So let's
ahead. I
let's
was going to give one, but I'd love you to give one,
Yeah,
please.
yeah. So let's go back to your media, right? You were saying you work for Verizon, you were in media, da da da. So I was on a project for Comcast, like with Eric, right? So that was media as well. The secret to many of these big businesses and why they're doing so well is because they collected data for years. Comcast owns the rights to a lot of television. So what do? They create a search engine box, right? That is their hardware and their technology that has been, branded and trademarked and has all types of patents around it, right? So that set top box, right? That set top box has all this information in it that runs like its own system, but it also has search and discovery within it, right? Because they have millions of records. Most small businesses don't even know how much data they actually have. And if they knew that they could take that data, similar to a Comcast or Verizon, not at that scale, I'm not saying they're at that scale, but what I am saying is even if you got a terabyte, right? Like Comcast got like, petabytes of information. You know what I mean? They have a ton of information. But even if you, as a small business, have terabytes, a couple of terabytes of information, you can find ways to monetize that using your own algorithms and methodology.
So, putting it in concrete terms for like a residential business, taking a stab at that, a residential building.
So let's say a restaurant. I'm a
Um,
restaurant.
okay, we switched to restaurant, fine.
Oh,
Um,
you want to stay with the
with the
construction?
builders or with
Okay, let's
the
do buildings because I love buildings. Okay, all right, cool. So
um,
let's do that. Let's stay with
there's this history of clients and how what has been the scope of their project, what has been the budget versus the actual
yeah.
cost, projected
And
versus actual
so
cost.
you're only on the project. I'm on the designs, right? The designs that I've done, the square foot of the designs, like every single metadata associated with it. So I'm talking about the square footage of the building, the square footage of the room, the square footage of the door, the handles, the all that stuff. All of that stuff is data.
Which
Every
subcontractors worked on which piece. We use these companies for
exactly.
the plumbing
Right?
part, these
How
companies
long they worked on it? What was their name? What was
on
their
time ratio,
exactly?
maybe even the weather correlations to all
Yes.
those projects, so that we know that okay, when we did a project with this combination of facts, footprints, real estate, doorknobs, roof supplier,
Yep.
in this season, because building is seasonal, right? Blah
Mhm.
blah blah. Margins were high. We need
Yep.
to do more of this. Blah blah blah. Margins were low. Things were even worse. Maybe some things were even negative. We didn't even realize because it was all lost in the data. Because in the end of the year, I came out positive, but I missed some things that were negative in between that I could have just avoided those projects.
Yes.
So they have all this data. To your point, they have them. They're just not holding it in their hands. It's there swimming around. The
Yep.
data is swimming around in their business, through invoices, through contracts they sign with their vendors, and so on and so forth, through contracts with their clients,
But
and
but you stayed on the level of what they could do with their data. My thought process is now there's another business that has not structured their data, right? They're the same business. This could be the same type of business, same construction builder, whatever. But this construction A has structured their data so magnificently that now construction or builder B is like, yo, wait, why is construction A getting more projects? Like, what are they doing? Because they're able to speed up the amount of information they're able to split out for, RFPs, responding to them or whatever that is, because they're able to structure their data and use their methodology aligned with their data to really speed up that information to get more contracts, right? So now builder B, construction builder B is like, maybe I should work with them. Builder A is like, let me license you my data,
Yeah. Yeah.
right?
Even another revenue stream, even on top
Correct.
of just doing well in their core
Exactly.
business. Now another business is
Yes.
providing the data and the services that go with that. Like
This excites me. Yes. Uh-huh.
now, unfortunately, I'm going to break the bad news. I'm going to break the good feelings because I'm with you so far. We're all in track, and I'm going to break it in two ways. One of them is that one, I'm going to say to you, I'm going to assert, I'm going to or allege, however you want to put it, that
Yeah.
the solution to everything you just said, which is, you know, capturing this data, let's say, be more like Comcast, to just put it in one
Hmm.
sentence, is, and I'm purposely being very vague. There's simple,
Yeah.
is you need an ARP, enterprise resource planning database. Like
Mm-hmm.
that's you, Melissa says you need to understand the value of your data. You need to be able to correlate your inflows and outflows and design and da, 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 da. Ola says you need an ERP. Like you need to, and I hate to say this is a very cynical view of the world because tech companies, our job is to sell tech. I don't know
Yeah.
what to tell you, and in the shorthand form, in the way our ecosystem works,
Yeah.
everything you just said to me in my sort of very, let's say, I don't know, cynical or let's say black and white is you need to tell them to use an ERP. Better yet, you need to tell them to use the ERP that's custom made for contracting businesses of revenue size between 1 million and 5 million. We've made an ERP just for you.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the rest of the magic that needs to happen in that ERP, correlating the design with the invoice, with the customer relationship data, da, 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 that needs to be built into the ERP.
Mm-hmm.
You need to just give them those answers. We need to give them those answers. Like we today, right now, need to make the ERP. And frankly speaking, this is a trend in software right now. This is a trend in SaaS, so-called SaaS, but software more broadly speaking, which is that rather than the Canva that's for everybody, we need the Canva that's for businesses who specialize in real estate, da, 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 da. Canva for social media influencers
Mm-hmm. Right.
who
I agree
do,
with that.
XYZ.
100%.
And this is a trend.
Yeah.
Today, the people that are leading those trends, the segments that are today, Canva is not in that trend because people just there's no
But
Canva
you
for
just gave it to him, but it's cool.
yeah, and not and people are doing it.
Right.
Figma is a version of that for
Right.
kind of software product
Yeah.
people. Figma is like the Canva for them, but
Correct.
there's going to be a lot more of that
Yeah.
because CRM and ERP. Speaking of which, especially those two, and
Yeah.
especially CRM.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody's like, okay, HubSpot think they're for everybody, but right now today, I'm not an expert in CRM. I can't rattle them off. I can't rattle them off the top of my head, but
Yeah.
there is a CRM for builders
Yeah.
in residential contracting up to 5 million annual AR. There's one for 50 million, 100 million, a billion, Um, so that's my first response to you is that even with everything that you said, me and you still cannot be telling them to educate themselves. Me and you have to tell them
I
this
agree.
is the answer. Like we are the answer people. That's our job. And if you don't have an answer, then go to something else. You have an answer. Like that, and we do. You do with Swift and tools for product management for government contracts. That's your job. You give them an answer, And so that my first statement is that that contractor firm, they need an ERP that's specialized to them that can just tell them, hey, do more of these projects, reach out to more of these customers, whatever, based on the ERP, based on the data. And
Mm-hmm.
the second thing I'll say is they do need Gen AI. By the way, you said, oh, not everybody needs the Gen AI. One
No,
of the arguments, everybody needs Gen AI.
no, no. Not everybody needs Gen AI.
That's my argument that everyone needs Gen AI. That's my argument. And the reason being because they're always deeper structural business intelligence things. Like you keep going to fraud detection. There's systemic, very deep things that businesses need to handle to be successful.
Yes, but businesses should create their own algorithms and not depend on something that's outside of them because then you don't understand ethically what those algorithms may do to your organization if you try to bring it in there, right? Like
Except
that's
what I'm saying is that the Gen AI is not for those deep fundamental problems. I
oh,
think
okay.
now we can get back to a little bit of kumbaya.
Okay,
Is that
I went too fast.
and I think it's about stratification. I think and maybe we'll start to do the bit of the wrapping up or something like that to see
Yeah,
if we do agree. But I think there's a stratification about complexity and depth.
correct. Yes.
So maybe I'll do it this way. To one side is deeper, complex, sophisticated, and frankly, bigger value. Like, yes, for to get the big value out of your company's data or your company's business processes, your business, it's not Gen AI. It's
Right.
also not, I'll concede, this is the last time the Nigerian will concede to a Jamaican. I'll concede for those big value propositions, that's not swift delivery. It's not, oh, quick and dirty.
Correct.
Let's just, give you quick and dirty
Yes.
solution.
Thank you.
There is a deep, fundamental, systemic, fundamental understanding, to use your words. I think the fundamental understanding, is
Yes.
that the word? Yeah,
Yes.
fundamental
Yes.
understanding that you can't escape, and that's to get the big value. However, there is low value that's
Yeah.
just sitting around,
Yeah. I
and
agree with that.
every time we should just be like, hey, let's try something that works. Let's use it. Hey, these people are using social media for marketing. Social media seems to be a thing. You don't need, 6 months and 8 months and cross-functional team and matrix debates to decide whether your company should be on social media. Be on social media. you
Right.
know Same thing now with Gen AI, in my mind.
Right.
No, should Gen AI be like the backbone of your mission critical business process?
Right.
No, we shouldn't go and replace 911 call center with the Gen AI agents. No, we shouldn't do that. But should you be using Gen AI, whatever business you're in right now, just like you should be using social media,
Yeah.
just like you should be using the web? Yes, yes, Gen AI, you should be using it.
Yes.
That's my thought.
I agree. Okay, so we do have to wrap. I didn't see any questions. I don't think I know how to work this that well to even figure out if there were any questions.
Everybody send us the question. Send it to Orca Intelligence, the actual homepage. Send it to the. I think we've both promoted this live in our LinkedIn.
Yeah.
So wherever you've seen this thing
Just
promoted on
message
any of our
us,
pages, put us
ask
the message.
questions.
Yep,
We
there you
may
go.
do this again, Jamaica and Nigeria debating
There we
something. But
go.
I think we come to some agreements here, which is nice, right?
Nigeria, Jamaica, right versus wrong. We got it. We got it. We got it. I'm with you.
Then I'll let you get away with it. Nope.
Oh, she break out the patois. I'm scared now.
Exactly.
I gotta run away now.
All right. Well, have a good one, Ola. It's good chatting with you. Until next time. Thank you, everyone who joined. Take care.
Yes, thanks everyone, and thanks to Melissa. Great session.
You're
Love
welcome.
what
Bye
you're doing.
bye.